certain industrial activity is strongly associated with certain cancer types. This tells me that these industrial areas, which are areas that have had the highest industrial releases of carcinogens and have had the biggest problems, environmental problems, just happen to cluster together. Harvey, high levels of uranium, arsenic in the drinking water, in basements, radon gas, very high, and an antimony mine. Drummond in Denmark, Base Gagetown, and Caracat, all cancer rates for these 6 cancer types, all below the provincial rate. Fishing village, fishing community, crab, shrimping, no industry. Drummond, Denmark, no industry. Base Gagetown area, no industry. If you just look at the provincial data, it's not telling you what's happening at the community level, because clearly Baldoon, Dalhousie, Harvey, and Minto have got much higher rates of cancer than way on the other end in Miramichi or Caracat. Here's lung cancer rates. This is the Minto area, lung cancer, highest rates, coal mining, dirtiest coal-fired power plant, and it's higher than St. John. Dalhousie, look at the rate of ovarian cancer. It's 3 times the rate of the province. Brain cancer rates were highest in the Base Gagetown area and the Upper Miramichi area. These 2 areas are areas that have experienced the longest spray programs. In the case of Upper Miramichi, the spruce budworm, and in the Base Gagetown area, of course, the herbicide spray program. There was a recent article in Environmental Health Perspectives around brain cancer in children, very strongly correlated to exposure to carbamates. And carbamates, I do know, in the Upper Miramichi area was, after they stopped spraying DDT, they sprayed a carbamate to treat the spruce budworm. And the Base Gagetown study, I think that was a $5–10 million study. That study found that brain cancer rates among women in that area were higher than the provincial rate. And it's exactly what my dinky little study found, that women in that Base Gagetown area have higher rates of brain cancer. And it's not a common cancer. There's some literature around this take-home factor about men coming and bringing their pesticide or contaminant-laden clothes. I mean, industrial hygiene practices have improved over the years, where now at the smelter, historically at the smelter, men would leave work with their lead-laden clothes, and wives would wash them in the machines. And I mean, I remember my father was a uranium miner. He's dead, and so is my mother. But they would bring their clothes home, and my mother would wash them until industrial hygiene practices improved, and you would leave your clothes at work and have a shower and then come home. But then you still had your lunch bucket and your shoes and your car, and all of these things would come home. In prostate, colorectal cancers have shifted from down 2 age groups, from usually affecting men and women 65 and older. We're now down at 45. And that's another pattern that's underreported. What I did before I went public is I went to the mayor and the council and I said, I'm going to release this report and it's not going to look good. And the amazing thing is it confirmed their suspicions. What they didn't realize is how different they were from other communities. And it just sort of made them think. But it's the stigma, I think, that government wants to avoid, and it has to do something. If a community has high rates of, you have to do something.